Ameer Fakhoury, you've got here today to speak the European Endowment of Democracy, Two States One Homeland. Have you got an optimistic vision of the future?
Well, I usually answer this question while saying that I don't have the luxury of being pessimistic or optimistic. I think I'm an agent, meaning I can influence myself as a part of a collective action. I can influence the reality that I live in, the reality that my family, my children live in. So I can, as an agent of this, I think I don't have the luxury to be pessimistic, and I think this is a question relevant to somebody who's looking from outside. I'm from inside. Well aware that I can and have the moral responsibility to change. So I can say that I'm optimistic because I have to be optimistic, because I choose to be.
You're an Arab Israeli minority. I think it's about a fifth of the population in Israel. You know about some of the difficulties of day-to-day life and the issues that are felt in the Arab community. Do you think it's possible to live in one homeland, or should there be borders and two separate homelands?
First of all, there is no secret that the ethno-national Arab-Palestinian minority in Israel is a discriminated minority. It has been discriminated along the years. This discrimination has been documented in numerous, countless research. Even Israel itself, official Israel, does not deny this discrimination in land, in general life, in general allocation of life chances. However, we're not the issue here. And to addressing your second question, I think that yes, of course, we can live in one homeland. We're already living in one homeland, but not in a homeland that provides equal rights for the two nations. I think that crafting this solution, which bring about two independent states coming together in shared institution, in an agreed institution, while recognizing that the two nations has a great affinity and connection to this homeland, while getting inspired from other kinds of unions between two separate nations, we can find the way out of the deadlock that the classical two-state solution has brought upon us for the last 2 decades and more. This is, and I have to emphasize this is a specific version of the state solution, not going out of the institutional political logic which dominate the world. However, well designed, I think, to get us out of the deadlocks, especially when it comes to the refugees core issue and settlements.
So you're here in Brussels today. What would you like to see the EU do to help this process? How can we get both sides? How can the EU play a role, or is it up to those people in the region to develop this solution?
Of course, I think that at the end of the day, the people that will sign the peace accord will be the Palestinians and the Jews. However, the EU, as a global superpower, can provide the proper incentives and design the proper constraints that will bring us to there. Advocating human rights is very important. However, we're not naive. We know that we need incentives. What are the incentives? We need incentives also and political legitimacy. Imagine if the EU adopts this kind of version of a two-state solution. It will bring us immense political legitimacy to go on to our peoples and gain more support. The EU, and I doesn't need to be reminded, is a global superpower. The biggest trade partner was Israel. So I think it goes without saying that it has immense ability to influence Israel and, of course, influence the Palestinian. And it is in its national interest to bring peace in the EU. And I think now it's an anchored conclusion that doesn't need to be more self-explained conclusion, that it's in the most national interest to bring peace, to bring a lasting peace, authentic lasting peace to Palestine and Israel.
What do you think the benefits would be for the region as a whole?
You know, predicting the future is not an easy thing. So we can only evaluate the future after diagnosing the significant relevant variables. However, I really believe, based on information, based on past experiences, that if we can prove that Palestinians and Jewish Israelis can work together in an institution and political institution which looks like a confederation, imagine the immense positive political repercussion on the whole region, on the whole Arab-Israeli conflict. This will bring more hope for the youngsters in all the region and will increase the life chances and better the life chances of all of the states in the region. I think it is a realistic repercussion and well-based evaluation.